Alright guys, so now we're going to do some pivot tables. Pivot table is a program tool that allows you to reorganize and summarize columns and rows of data into spreadsheets or database tables to obtain reports. There are loads of uses to pivot tables. I'm going to focus on a few aspects that can be used by journalists to help them tell better stories. We are going to learn how to set up the pivot table, understand how it works, clean up data, and then show how it can be used to convert large pieces of data to percentages and comparison tables, which can finally churn out graphs and neat little summaries. We are going to revisit the police statistics that we used earlier. You'll find the link above or below, depending on where you're watching this video. And you'll also see a Google Drive link, and this will take us to the working folder I'll be working from. For the sake of this exercise, we're going to focus on 3 stations in Msunduzi municipality, namely Pietermaritzburg Central, Plesala, and Mountain Rise police stations. I'm assuming you've downloaded it. Here it is. Here's that data. As you can see, it's quite extensive. So there is a protected workbook, so I want you to go and grab Mountain Rise, Plesala, and Pietermaritzburg, copy and paste them into a new workbook, and which, when you get there, will look something like this. What you've copied and pasted, it look pretty rough. Then we're going to need to start cleaning up this data, so I've put it all into one sheet here. Now, if you pivot tables won't be able to read this because it's just so all over the place, and you see it gives me one thing to choose from, so it's no point. So we have to clean it. I'm going to delete that. We have to clean it, and the things that we need to get rid of are these. We need to make sure there's only one heading. As you can see, there's 3 at this point. We also need to get rid of these subheadings, and we need to get rid of these totals. I also want to turn these subheadings into another column, as it's just another neat way of being able to explore the data. So yeah, let's go there. All right, so my next spreadsheet, you'll see I've taken out those massive headings at the top of each one, and what I've also gone and done is when I've taken them out, I have put just a neat little heading in a new column: Pietermaritzburg, Plesala, and Mountain Rise. Don't worry about this. This is just the way it's just the way the formatting is. And on this side, what I've done is this. I have dragged across like that because I want to use these to create a new column. See, notice that? Notice how we pull things across? Alright, so first things first, let's get all of these labeled as a place. Okay. Alright, let's do that. So we're going to select it all, and we are going to go to Find and Select, and we're going to go to Special, and then we're going to go to Blanks, and OK, and it's going to give us a little block right below Pietermaritzburg. And there we are going to type equals. We're going to push up and select it, and then we're going to push Control Enter, and it's going to autofill that whole thing there. So just remember, we're going to do it again anyway. Go to Special, Blanks, and then equals, push up, and then Control Enter, autofill. Here we're going to do it again. So we're setting up a new row here. Let's just call it crime type. Alright, there we go. And we are going to do that whole thing here again. So let's select that. Find and select. We're going to go to Go Special. We're going to go to Blanks. We're going to do that. We're going to do equals. We're going to push up. And we're going to do Control Enter. And there we go. It looks good. Alright, just some things you're going to need to know though. At some point we want to take all these subheadings away, and I also want to change that to place. So we need to do a few things here. So first of all, the easiest and quickest way, we need to change this from a formula-based result. As you can see, every time I go down, it says equal to A10, it's the one below, to just plain old values standalone. The easiest way to do that is just select the entire column, go copy, and then you'll find values in your paste options and paste. Alright, now I can type place here, nothing changes. I'm going to have to do the same here, although it probably won't let us do it, or probably won't let us paste it. Let's just see. It does. Perfect. Okay, that's great. Great stuff. Okay, there we go. There we go. It's done. Okay, so I'm going to move over to another window, and in that we're going to have to take out all these subheadings, which I'm going to under nearly clean. You can see that I've gone and done. I've deleted all of them. And now there's all these white spaces that we need to get rid of. So to do that, I'm just going to select the entire table by clicking the top left-hand side. I'm going to go back to Go To Special. I'm going to go to Blanks. It's going to select all the blanks for me. I'm going to go into one of these little selected areas, right-click. I'm going to say Delete, shift the cells upwards. It's going to think for a little bit, and voila, it's done. Nice and clean. And then on the last window, you'll see that these two things are gone. All right, so now what we're looking at is really clean data. Now we're going to set up a pivot table. Now, just before we do that, the thing about cleaning up data is you need, whatever you miss in the cleaning stages, you're probably going to have to deal with at a later point. This is just one of those things you need to adjust. Now we are at pivot tables, and we can go through a step-by-step guide. So there we go. Let's go and open up a pivot table. And you go to Insert. Make sure you obviously collect it somewhere inside here, because if you're over here, it won't do it for you. So you go there, pivot table, open, and what you will see is 4 fields and all our headings from earlier over here. So let's just look at one of the purposes of pivots. It's great place to find spelling errors with large swaths of data. So for instance, and I've gone and created some errors which wouldn't normally exist, but I've created them. So you can see in our data, I've gone and put it in rows. Now, just so you know, you've got rows, which is pretty simple. Columns, which come down. This is what the data will look like when you put something there. Filter, which allows you to filter stuff, so you don't have to see large amounts of data all at once. You can adjust what data you want to see. And values is like where the number goes. But just quickly come back to this. I've dragged places into rows, and we can see there's some errors in this. So let's go back to that folder. We see there's a, what are the errors? Mountain pies. Okay, well, we obviously know it's meant to be mountain rise. So let's Control F this. Bring this window in here. All right, so there can't be too many pies in this sheet. So we find all of them. Find mountain pies. Okay. Mountain pies. There it is. We want to replace mountain pies with mountain rise. We can replace. It has completed it. And what is the other one? The other one is places, eh? So let's go back there and look for places. Same thing. Find all places. Okay, there's only one, thank heavens. All right, and we want to call it places. Solar. Okay. Yeah, we're going to replace it. There we go. And we've got another correction to make, which is, well, PMB should be is short for Pietermaritzburg. So let's go and find it. PMB. Find all. There's only one PMB. We want to replace it with Maritzburg. Okay. And we replace it. There we go. Replace all. Done. This is lekker. Alright, it's good. Now we go back to our sheet. You see it hasn't changed here yet, but that's for good reason, because we've actually got to refresh the page. So you just do that, and there we go. Refresh. So there's one great use of this, is to make sure everything is called the same when it comes down to your analysis. In this particular, let's see what we can do with this particular table. So let's compare years in general. All right. So we're just going to go and grab crime category. We're going to put into filter, and we're going to put the years. So what it's done is we're looking at the amount of total crimes committed in those police stations over those various years, which is a great piece for storytelling. Nice thing to compare with, gives you an idea of how, just a great idea of how the crime is split. And you can also use crime categories this is for all the crimes, but let's say you only want to review one or two crimes. So we just want to see attempted murders, how attempted murders have fared over that period. And we only look at attempted murders during then. So Mountain Rise has had you can get an idea of how it's moving. These guys have had a great reduction. Pietermaritzburg's also had a reduction in this particular crime. That gives you an idea. Okay, I'm just going to show you a few others, how you can mish and mash it all around. So let's move all this back. Let's see, you can either just delete it from there by clicking like that and saying remove field, or move it all back. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to jazz it up a little bit. We're going to put, there's the place over there. We're going to put the crime type here and the year. And now we can also mess around with the values that are inside here. So let's say we wanted to know how each of these crime types in a percentage contributed to the total amount of crimes committed in this particular year. So we go to sum over here, and we go to value field settings. Sum is, if we go to count, it's going to tell us how many actual rows these categories are in each policing year over here. So it's just basically counting the rows, but we don't, and that comes in handy, I suppose, when you are when you're trying to work out where data's come from, and it's a great, how many times has the data come from a certain Twitter handle compared to another Twitter handle. But we are interested in the sum. We're going to go there. All right, and we also want to take a look at show the values as percentage of the grand total. There we go. Okay, this is really cool. See how it's kind of worked it out. Mountain Rise's complete contribution across all those crimes to the grand total of those three stations. You'll notice Plessis-La, it's contributes the most. You can Also, if you, let's say you're happy with this now, you're like, oh, I quite like this. This is something I can work with. But so I don't want to lose it. You can you can do this. There we go. You've got another one. And this one you can now leave. And you can just simply work over here. Let's say you want to just look at the crime categories as a total. And you wanted to see all of these. Yeah, you want to select all over there. You can now look at all the crimes that are being committed. Let's actually have a bit of fun here, and you can put in crime type. No, you can't do that. It's not going to be able to do that. So here you can just check out. You can kind of check out all the various crimes and the percentages and how they contribute, and perhaps that helps you with your further analysis for later on. Okay, let's come back here. Let's take our crime there. Let's put in that one. Let's once again look at all of them. Okay, you also want to, let's put these back to your normal values, for instance. You can also change the values by right-clicking and going here to no calculation. You'll also find all the other types here: percentage of grand total, percentage of column total. This is quite cool. This will tell you percentage of the row total. Hits up these noughts when there's zeros. But that's not really important at this point. You can see how or theft, not mentioned elsewhere, or arson, how arson is spread across the 3 policing precincts. Let's go and look at the percentage of the column total. This is the breaks it down, the crimes per column. So you get an idea of, let's see if we can do what is the most reported crime in this particular district. There we go, drug-related. And what you also notice is drug-related crimes is pretty high on all the others. So maybe that's the story there. You could probably also do a comparison over any other year. There we go. We can compare these stations over here. Change that to also, and now you're comparing year by year next to each other. So there's been, obviously, you can physically see a slight increase in all of these. And that's it. So there's much more you can do with pivot tables. Obviously have fun, play around, and if you hit any speed humps, Google it. And most answers have already been found for you.